everybody, Jake Spano here. It is the week of January 18th. This is your Mayor's Minute. Lots to cover. First off is a follow-up to the carjacking discussion that's been happening. Myself and some of my colleagues convened a meeting where we had the county attorney attend, as well as folks from the governor's cabinet and even the Ramsey County attorney, to make sure that our police chiefs and we could have a chance to talk to Mike Freeman directly about some of the challenges that our police are seeing in our community and ways that we can make our community safe. Good conversation. Sometimes, tough stuff, but that's important and it needed to be said. Already the county attorney's office has changed some of the policies that it used to implement. For example, it used to, for first-time offenders on car thefts, did not request bail. They are now going to be doing that. And I think myself and some of my colleagues are sitting down right now. We're drafting a letter to the county attorney and the governor to just talk about what we heard coming out of that meeting, what our expectations are, and some short-term things that we think can help keep our community safer, and some long-term things that need to be done to make sure that that we don't have, especially juveniles, committing these crimes. And that's not as simple as just arresting people. That's part of it, but that's not the only part of it. And so we need to be doing some of the things that cities like St. Louis Park and some of our neighbors have been doing around community-oriented policing, those principles. We need to apply those more broadly. And that's kind of, I think, one of the long-term strategies. So more to come on that. Last night was our city council meeting. 3 big things on the agenda. We declared a climate emergency, which is really just reaffirms, I think, the work that the city has been doing for many, many years, but really highlights things like our climate investment fund that we created, which will be allowing us to partner with residents and businesses on energy efficiency and greenhouse gas reduction items. So that was a big thing last night. It's going to be us, and there's about 15 to 20 cities around the state that are doing this all this month. So there'll be a story in the Star Tribune coming up, I think, later this week on it. Also, we found out that some of our boards and commissions were not able to meet because people were either sick or concerned about getting coronavirus. And so we didn't have a quorum of members. And a quorum just means you have to have a majority of people to be able to make an official decision. And so that basically meant that they couldn't really do their work. Well, it turns out under state law, boards and commissions can't meet remotely unless the council is meeting remotely. So we did pass an ordinance where we will be meeting remotely for about a month. I think council would love to stay in person, but we also need to make sure our boards and commissions are getting their work done. So we'll do that. We've done it before. There'll be ways that the public can weigh in. We've got the call-in lines, and we've managed that very, very nicely during the height of the sort of first run of coronavirus. Lastly, of course, was the big thing that was on the agenda was an ordinance requiring the wearing of masks in St. Louis Park. I'm not going to go through all of the details, but basically, our fire chief and emergency management director, Steve Coring, presented us with really compelling data about where infections are at right now, and kind of as we're about, we're kind of in the middle of the peak of infections, but bed utilization at hospitals is lags that about by 2 to 4 weeks. And I heard from a lot of our hospital providers, nurses, the head of Park Nicollet, or health partners that said, we need every single bed we can get to not only take care of people who have coronavirus, but to take care of people who have heart attacks and cancer and all of the other things. So we did go ahead and pass it. It is a very limited window of time. It's a month, so it goes into effect this Friday. It will it will sunset, basically expire on the 22nd of February, unless council acts otherwise. I will say, sort of around this, that masks aren't necessarily the long-term answer. It's not, we need to get to vaccinations. And so I did suggest, and my colleagues agreed, that we need to be looking at what resources we have to make sure that every single person in our community who can be vaccinated is vaccinated. I was a little surprised to see some of the data that, I would have thought that the number of people vaccinated would be like maybe, 75 or 80% of our population in the Twin Cities. It's actually more like about 65, 70 maybe percent. That surprised me and really made clear to me that there's a gap there, that we need to get people vaccinated, because that's the way that our bars and restaurants won't have to have mask mandates hanging over their heads. and it's the way that our community will be healthy. It doesn't mean that you're never going to get sick. It doesn't mean that you're never going to get the coronavirus. I was vaccinated. I got coronavirus. It was like a 2-day head cold for me. It behaves differently for different people. But what we do know, the preponderance of scientific evidence says masks are helpful, and 95 masks are helpful in reducing coronavirus in particular. But any mask is better than none as long as it is tight fitting to your skin. And vaccines are really the long-term solution. So we'll be doing communication on this, and we've asked staff said that they could probably come back in 2 to 3 weeks with some ideas of ways that we can work with our business community. And I've already started having some conversations with businesses about some ideas that I've got. So until then, I guess I'll leave you the way I did back when coronavirus was at its height, which is please stay 6 feet apart, wash your hands, wear a mask, and stay healthy. All right, be good to each other.